Okay, so here we go. Welcome to a Greenleaf Terrain build and talk. I said I was going to do this from the start of this project, but I haven't, so I apologize for that. I'm at this stage, and right now what I did last night is it's got layers of half-inch foam all built up. It's been carved with a knife, hot wire foam cutters, and then a sanding block that I made using a piece of foam with sandpaper around it, and I just sanded all the pieces. These are casted blocks, casted rocks from Woodland Scenics rock molds. It's a variety of different molds. I think I have about 10 of them, so I don't know what rocks are what. Small rocks, big rocks. And then I used a product called Sculptamold. It's about 50% or about 60% plaster and 40 or 30%, I don't know, like this tissue paper basically. So when you mix it with water, it becomes like a kind of like a weird paste, like what am I thinking of? Paper mache. So it's kind of like paper mache weird stuff, and then I can basically come in and I grouted it all. So there's gaps between the casted rocks. So I grouted it with the Sculptamold, came on top because this is like a straight back. So then I came and made it rounded and stuff. Did it all the way 360 degrees around this guy because it's a big plateau basically. And then I came in with my blocks, and I figured out that I wanted to put a tavern up here and my windmill down here. I was going to have a windmill up here, but it became too clustered, and I realized that you wouldn't actually have very much space to put models on here, and I wanted it to be a piece that you could actually have a decent fight on this piece for like a skirmish game, War Machine, something like that, and even Warhammer 40k, what are they called? The smaller games. I don't know what they're called. Kill team games, yeah. So, these are the bases, and I'll be building up the tops today, doing the rest, and we'll be filming it all. So I had to wait for these guys to dry, so, because they're just blocks put together, stacked up, and not very stable until they dry, so they dried overnight. Still a little bit wobbly, but once a top is put on there, it'll be all solid. So what we're going to do now is come in with our trusty tools. Got an X-Acto knife, a pair of clippers, and this sculpting tool that's got like a little gouge on there, and then basically a needle. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make these blocks look ruined basically. I've set them up so they look ruined. Except for this guy, a little bit less ruined. But we need to make them look a little bit more jagged and stuff. So just come in and we'll use our X-Acto knife to grab edges, making sure to hold on to the rest of it so the whole thing doesn't fall apart, because it is just blocks put together. I've never really done this method before. I've always just cut out a large piece of foam and engraved the blocks onto it, but I wanted to try something different, a different look. So this is what I came up with. I used half-inch foam and I cut it into strips, and then I cut those strips into blocks, and I made a big fat pile. I thought I would have to do it twice or a couple times, but I was able to build the bottom of like 3 other two-door buildings and the bottom of these 2 buildings, so that's 5 buildings. So I got a good pile done. I apologize for the little bit further back view, but I need to be able to get in here on my L-shaped bench here, and need to be able to film both buildings and not zoom in and out and have to do all this stuff right now. Just want to do a build and talk to you guys. Something simple. You see how I work. Just basically get in there with some different tools, make some variation in the blocks. Trying to get rid of all the excess as it, if I don't have to come in and grab it all out when I'm done after. Make this hole a little bit more realistic. I'm going to stick in some background music or something a little bit light, because I'm obviously not talking the whole time and it might be a little bit boring if I don't have music, but I'll put music in. I'm struggling a little bit with the Sony Vegas. I don't have the Pro version. It's like $1,000 to get the Pro version. I just have the amateur version or whatever it's called. I think it was like $60 or something. Anyways, it does what I needed to do, because I wasn't able to render the HD videos with Windows excuse me, with Windows Movie Maker. So I had to get something else. And I was watching the mini wargaming videos on how to make better YouTube videos and such, and they said to get Sony Vegas, but as I looked into it, the Pro version they were talking about is quite expensive, and I'm not a big company. I'm a one-man show, so I wasn't able to afford something like that. But right now, if anybody does use that program, I would love if someone could email me at greenleafterrain@gmail.com. That would be able to Skype me or something and help me out with editing. I'd love to be able to make like a little an intro to all my videos instead of just, well, I'm talking. But right now I just basically upload the video, stick it all together and render it. I get quite frustrated with the program not working for me, and I'm just trying to put in an ending credits, and it was just way complicated. But when people explain stuff to me, I get it, but it's hard for me to learn without, and their little teaching tutorial on there just doesn't do very much. So that wasn't working for me. So I'd love if someone that's watching these videos knows Sony Vegas, maybe even the Pro version, but they can work the other version or something. I don't know. It's not Pro. It's just Sony Vegas, I guess. But I'd love to get it working. Spend a little bit more time editing my videos and getting a little bit more quality. I am taking a little bit of the Blue Table method and just putting up videos, content. I hope I didn't get completely in the way of the camera there. That's a little bit bad. Oh, sorry. Let's grab my other guy and some smaller holes. Some of these spots I gotta remember aren't gonna matter because they're gonna have a top on them, such as up here, and I gotta not take away from my contact points so much. I wasn't thinking when I was digging. That's okay. I did that before, and the building actually is quite stable, so no problems. Just want to get 30-60 around these guys, so you can see I'm pulling out decent sized chunks. Make some variation, make it look a little bit more realistic. Oh. just wasn't 100% glued down there. Give it a little bit more push. And then after a while, as I get going, basically just need to look where there's kind of weird spots that don't look right anymore because you've destroyed some areas so much that they look too clean. So you need to get in there. I'm not going to use those clippers because I found this tool. I was using the clippers to do this exact same method, basically get in there and grab it out. Because this, guys, really only good for taking like little nicks out like this and pulling them. It's kind of tedious. That's okay. Let's do a couple more. Get the back of this wall. Fixing up a couple things. It's gonna be weird to paint some spots if I don't grab out the excess little things hanging off, or they'll just come off when I'm painting anyway, so they'll be in the paint. A little bit annoying, so I'd rather grab them now. I'm just checking all the walls to make sure they look good enough. More variations. Sorry, I'm just trying. I'm a meticulous cleanup person, so keep my spaces very organized, and then I can actually work when I need to work. There's no Hufflepuff going on, as they'd say in Harry Potter. I don't know what Hufflepuff was, but it was a funny word. Someone knows what the Hufflepuff is, please comment. Maybe Hufflepuff was something else. I watch a lot of fantasy movies. I can't remember what it's called. There's a really good 2-part fantasy movie that was only on TV. It's got this guy, his trunk follows him around. I can't remember what it's called. It's hilarious. Anyways, I'll grab the camera off here and get in closer so you can see what I did. So you can see I just came in and the blocks looked like they were sitting there nicely, but they've been eroded away, gouged up, different things. I did it on all sides. You can see there's cracks in there, and it just looks better. So I'm gonna put the camera back on the tripod now and do it up for the second part of this, and it's probably gonna be a speed round because it's just gonna be painting. So enjoy that, and thanks for watching. This is part 1 of the build and talk for the autumn centerpiece. Keep watching for more. Thanks.